What's your favorite Matt Damon movie?
This one. Not really. I don't know. Hello, everyone. We're the Continuity Crew. I'm Will. That's Win. And as duh. And today we're back with another big feature film podcast, and we've got The Last Duel today, starring Adam Driver, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and last but not least, Jodie Comer.
Batman. It's
Kylo
Ren, and
Jason Bourne.
Yep.
And
I was gonna say fake Loki.
Hey, well, technically,
Loki actor.
Jodie Comer is technically related to
Adam Driver. Yeah.
Kylo Ren.
Because
I don't know.
There's a thing there.
Star Wars is stupid. I mean, it's not. But back, let's talk about Last Duel. You said you wanted to do the plot.
Yeah, I'll do the plot.
Go for it.
All right.
I feel like you have
ready?
something in store.
I guess ready. It's about three homeboys from a frat, and these dudes like they do king shit and like do all this stuff from medieval times, right? And this one guy who marries a girl. They got all like in trouble and shit. I guess the frat dudes, the two other frat dudes, Batman and Kylo Ren got in trouble because Kylo Ren, they got in trouble because them homeboys did something awful to these two who got married, and the homeboy Matt Damon got kicked out of the frat, and there's a whole schlick there. So I don't want to spoil it yet.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
I mean, you're kind of God damn it.
It's basically 2021 in 1300s and the Me Too movements.
What he said, he's kind of right. I mean, I'm gonna read the IMDb thing as always. Yeah. King Charles VI declares the knight Jean de Cargosicis settles his dispute with his squire by challenging to a duel, which is very simple. And maybe they can't say the R word on there either.
Maybe. But the homeboy's name is like John, Jack, and
I kept
Pierre.
It was Jean and Jack.
Yeah.
And
John
I kept
is Matt Damon.
The yes, Sir Jean de Cargurger and Jacques Le Artis. And but essentially, yes, they decided to dispute over a duel, and it is because Jodie Comer has been sexually assaulted by Adam Driver's character, and
the whole movie, or at least the second half of the movie, is all about the trial, and like the truth for what really happened there.
This is all based on true events as well.
This movie kind of gets messy, a little bit,
but.
It doesn't really.
I'm going to see what you say, but go ahead.
It doesn't really go chronologically. It kind of goes back and forth for each person, which doesn't really work in a movie. Yeah,
so for me, that's like a pro and a con, which we'll talk review stuff. But it's cool because it's not your linear storytelling. Yeah. We get three sides of the same story, but like while we're seeing that story, we get gaps filled in with each new telling. And like I really like that. But before we do more review stuff, did you have any expectations for this movie going into it?
Jodie Comer being great.
Okay.
Because I'm a big fan.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything, I guess, besides Star Wars with her. She seems to be Free Guy, duh.
Yeah.
But she seems to be up and coming. I want to see more of her. I thought she was great in this. Definitely could see like
incredible.
This is definitely Oscar bait at its finest, and we'll talk about that later. So make sure you stay tuned. I think I stopped in the middle of the intro now that I'm thinking about it. Whatever. We're big feature film podcast, whatever, like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
But review stuff. Pros, cons, go.
Pro, Jodie Comer's great.
Agreed.
Adam Driver, and like we mentioned this right after the movie.
Yes.
Adam Driver and at least Ben Affleck did something, and Matt Damon was kind of
he kind of played himself, or he just didn't try. He did try. He acted really well, but he didn't feel like he fit in the time period. Besides this haircut and the scar he has on his face, I'm like, okay, he looks rough and battle torn, but he still just sounds like Matt Damon.
And he didn't really feel like you were in time when he's around.
Yeah.
Because everybody else, you were just like watching them, and you're just like, oh yeah, I could buy into this.
Yeah. And I mean, Ben Affleck was like blonde, and he had like the almost friar cut and like this.
That's why I called him a frat guy, because like as soon as you see him, he looks like a frat guy.
A little bit.
They did frat guy things.
Yeah, that's true.
This is an allegory for college.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll definitely. So Khan, a little bit of Matt Damon. He's still a great actor. Nothing away from him, but he kind of took out the time period of it. But neither here nor there. That's again probably my biggest con.
And there's a lot of fat in this movie that needs to be trimmed down. I want to say like at least the very beginning, because I feel like I know that we're trying to establish like the friendship between Adam Driver and Matt Damon, but I feel like they could have just shorn that somehow.
Yeah.
There is a lot of things in there that they could have used in like the later half of the movie. For example, I think one of the things that I thought that they were going to do something with was the whole dispute with the property, but they didn't even bring that up in the trials or whatever.
Yeah.
They had a little trial thing going on there, and I thought they were gonna do something with that, like for example, accuse Jodie Comer and Matt Damon's characters of like fraudulent accusations, because
I'm sure,
yeah, because they could have just been like,
I feel like that plot point was kind of settled with like, I'm like Ben Affleck's character. He's like, I'm the Lord. I can do whatever I want. I gifted it to you. Suck my dick, Matt Damon.
Yeah, but like I thought, because of the build up there, because it was like it kept going and going. I thought they were just gonna be like, oh yeah,
they'd be.
They
more
also
into
did
that.
this, and they sued him. They sued.
Which
Ben
for
Affleck.
for something that happened almost 700 years ago, and hearing the word sue for some reason felt so weird, because I would think suing someone was an old thing or a new thing, but I guess
I don't really know how accurate this movie is, but there may be a couple things in there that I was like kind of questioning.
I'm sure. And the biggest thing I would say is definitely the language. So like maybe you can't hate Matt Damon that much, because this would probably have been in like Old English, or no, it would have been in French. And so, or even maybe Old English. I don't know, because they're close to Scotland, but I don't know.
And it's funny because they had a Frenchman in there too, like talking.
Yeah, like when he was singing. Yeah. So the language stuff might be a little iffy in there, but to be fair, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon did write the movie, and they tend to be in the stuff they write, like Good Will Hunting and stuff. So
they're bros.
Yeah. So more pros and cons. Pro for me, it was like the sound mixing / sound editing. I don't know which is which. Probably just the sound in general. The sound department, they deserve an Oscar. Like with the chain mail and just like the pounding of certain like things, like specifically like when Adam Driver is like assaulting Jodie Comer's character, like the pounding of his hands on the wall, she's trying to get away from him and stuff like that. It made it more intense. It made it feel like you were there. And I mean, the scene's awful and you had to see it twice, so it makes it even worse. But it's supposed to make you feel that way. And it's supposed to irk you and make you feel gross and like hate this character. And I just thought that was great. I think with the chainmail and the fighting and stuff, all the sounds, like the visceral stuff with like the sword fights and like stabbing people, it all sounded great. I think, like I said earlier, Oscar bait for sure. Definitely think it could win that, but we'll see. It may not even get nominated. Who knows?
One thing that I really liked about that scene, wow, that sounds weird. Something that I really liked about what they did in that scene was that they didn't really put music over top of this like really heinous thing. And it's like the less music in a scene there is when it comes to intensity.
Something like that.
It's a lot more visceral, and it's a lot more attention grabbing than actually having, because like it's like, what is it? It's like it's when your sound and your vision is disrupted. Like there's too much of it. I don't remember what it's called.
Sensory overload.
Sensory overload. Yeah, it feels like that, and you don't know how to feel. But when they did this,
it was quiet, and it's like it's scary, is what it is for something that is real and happens unfortunately all the time. It made it feel gross. I mean, there's no really better way to say it. So any more pros, cons, stuff like that?
I like the cinematography. I don't know if I completely 100% liked it. I am a big fan of that kind of thing. I think they did a lot of good natural lighting in there. I mean,
I could see that.
I think there was like a couple of scenes where it's like, I'm pretty sure they use the same room. It's the dinner table for Matt Damon's house and the dining room table for Ben Affleck's castle, whatever. But like they use a lot of natural lighting there. They used mostly fireplace and like. Because, like, normally you'd see... I don't remember what movie it was, but they would add the lights that we have here. It's the
I didn't even think
tube
about
lights.
That, but, yeah, like, the lighting was really good. So, yeah. So he's got more of an eye for it than I do. This movie in itself was very engrossing and kept you captivated. For a 2-hour, 40-minute, runtime, I mean, I don't even think James Bond did that, and it was a little bit longer, and it didn't hold me the entire time like this one did. Because just the storytelling... great, and just all of it. I really like this movie.
The cinematographer's Dariusz Wolski. Yeah, he did The Martian.
Okay.
Sorry, I got
no. Yeah, go ahead.
Prometheus and Raised by Wolves.
So he's a Ridley Scott guy.
Sicario 2.
And we already kind of touched on technical stuff. I thought technically this movie was great. I think that's a big thing with like Ridley Scott. Like, I don't know 100%, but I bet he works closely with his cinematographers. I mean, obviously, because he's worked on other movies with them, editors, stuff like that. I think Ridley Scott's a great director. I mean, Alien is one of my favorite movies, and this is completely different. And then we have House of Gucci coming out later this year, and that's going to be a completely different like set piece and everything story, and I can't wait for that. So it's a good year for Ridley Scott, and I even said that earlier at the theater. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if we got like he got a double best Oscar, like best director nom. I don't know how House of Gucci's gonna be, but I could definitely seeing this get like best director or something. Honestly, a lot of nominations depending on how. I don't know. I think near the Oscars it might pick up some hype, or it might do well this weekend. But we do have Halloween and Halloween Kills, and that's probably gonna do better in the box office. And this movie, like I already said, 100% Oscar bait. It's
Ridley Scott is definitely not getting an Oscar for this though.
I don't know. It depends. I think we still have a lot that's going to come out in this later half of the year.
Well, I just don't like Ridley Scott that much. Like he does great, but like I don't know if I like. I don't think I liked the way he directed in this movie at all. A lot of pauses for him. Like a lot of like standing around mostly.
And see, and I kind of mentioned that, like the holding of, I wish they would hold more shots on people. There was a lot of standing around, but it never felt like.
That's different. That's editing.
Well, I know, but I mean, I'm just saying like the editing, sure. But again, I think he probably works closely with his crew. But it felt like there's certain moments with specifically Jodie Comer's character, like they could hold her face. Like there were some shots I'm like, that's perfect. Just hold it there. And then it would cut almost immediately. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you stick around with that more? I mean, I don't know. I think this is a great movie, and we can get to our ratings in a second. It was. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
I really wish the first, like I missed already, like
you didn't. Okay, so all you missed really was. They set up like the duel. Okay. They are getting dressed, and like the title card comes up, and they collide. As they collide for that first hit in the joust, then the title card comes up, and then it cuts to that battle that you saw when it says it was from Jacques' point of view, and instead of like Jacques or Matt Damon, whatever. Matt Damon's character saves Adam Driver's character's life instead of the other way around, which you saw later. Okay. And so it was saying, because that first part was the point of view of Matt Damon's character, his truth, and then I think you came in from there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh no, I came in.
What happened?
Yeah,
because I think you came in around the time like they were celebrating after that battle, and they wanted to come back. Yeah. But that's all you missed.
That makes sense. Wow.
And so like again, I guess that's something I want to reiterate is like the storytelling. It's not traditional, but I loved it because of that. I think it was a cool, different way to do it. It felt like almost like a time travel movie without the time travel, where it's like we get different perspectives and like it's cool to see that because I can't think of. I'm sure there's movies out there that do it, but like I can't think of one that I've seen in a while that it's like we're getting different perspectives and we're getting to fill in the pieces of the story throughout. And I just really loved that. I thought it was great storytelling, and I thought it was easy to follow. So it's not for like it's not going to be like, oh, I didn't get it because they went here then there and then they flipped it. I thought it was good.
It makes sense once you see the chapters.
Yeah.
And also I like the stakes at the end there.
Yes. Oh, I thought that like, last battle was great.
That battle was great, and also the consequences, the stakes. I think what they did there was incredible.
Yeah,
there was a lot of tension, and there was a lot of like, who's gonna win? Because you really don't know.
Yeah.
Because like when you're watching it, you're just hoping for one of them to die because they're both horrible.
Yeah, they're both pieces of shit men. Is the long story, and that's something I will kind of want to touch on. It didn't. As a topic like this is very relevant right now, it didn't feel down your throat political, and that was good. I felt like they kept it in the times because the men were still pieces of shit, and like that's just how it was. Like the judge, I forgot what one of the parliament people said, but I was just like, oh god.
Wait, which one?
It was during the trial when we get her point of view.
Oh yeah, did it feel good? Did you take pleasure from it?
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I was like, God. And I will say I like that because I was expecting this from how it was being advertised, being very like in your face, like woman empowerment. But it's like it's assuming this stays true to the story. It's just like it was a story about her and something that actually happened. And it was good. It didn't feel in your face. It felt like a story.
One thing that really kind of sucked but also didn't about this movie was that no one won at the end.
Yeah.
Really? Because, like, it's all about Matt Damon's pride. And she's just kind of left alone. Or she's just kind of left in the shadow. And that's why she was wearing all dark and shit. And, like, you know, her death was at stake. But, like,
in the end, it was
they kind of won, but they didn't.
Yeah, it's not really that she won. I mean, she did. And that's something I did find interesting is like the son, I'm assuming we're supposed to assume that is Matt Damon's actual kid. It's not from Adam Driver. And so I'm like, okay, because it's a blonde-headed kid. And I'm like, okay, it would be the other way around. But I'm like.
I thought it was, I don't know. I keep thinking that we don't know the ending of this movie, whose son it is.
I think it's got it.
I think it's Adam Driver.
I don't.
There's like.
And that's again another Driver. Good way of just storytelling because Adam Driver assaulted her and Matt Damon had sex with her around the same time, so you don't know. But that's something historically we'll probably never know. So it's like
I think just the way I'm thinking about it is like if this was like more present time, this was relevant to now, and I'm thinking like, yeah, this does tend to happen more when it comes to. Is that when someone gets pregnant?
Yes,
like yeah.
I agree,
and
but
I think that they're just gonna like, and also they keep talking about complications.
I know, but I feel like they were giving it a happy ending for her. She got her son, and she was very happy, and they made that evident near the end. She's like, I've never wanted to be like alive more because I have this child in my life. But anyways, let's do our ratings. And critical rating out of 10, Win. What do you say?
It was a 6.
CX.
And enjoyment, maybe around a 7.
7. I'm gonna say an 8.25 for critical. Actually, no. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm retracting a point from my James Bond. It's going down to a 7 instead of an 8 because I'm off the high of the movie and I'm like, okay, it's a 7. It's still like a 10 enjoyment. So I'm gonna give this one an 8. Instead of having to like nitpick and give it a higher than James Bond. And then enjoyment, I'm going to say an 8.5 because I thought technically it was really cool. I feel like this is definitely a film critics type movie and for the people too, but like most people probably wait till it's on like a streaming service to see it. And
I think at this point, I think this was a nice refresher from all the other night-related movie that we've seen.
hey, it's completely
like
different than
medieval
Green
times.
Knight.
It's completely different because like now you'd be expecting a fucking UFO or like
Yeah.
or like a goddamn monster in these movies. Because that's definitely one thing that I was sort of expecting. It was like there was gonna be some monster tail or some shit like that. Like you have to.
I thought it was very
just be
grounded.
strong.
But that's our Last Duel review.
It's a book.
Thank y'all for watching. We've been the Continuity Crew. I'm Will.
Go watch the movie.
That's Win. And as always, like if you enjoyed, comment down below something, and subscribe if you enjoyed reviews like this and you can see more. Just go check out our channel. Thank y'all for watching. We love movies. We love y'all. And we'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.
What's your favorite Matt Damon movie?
This one. Not really. I don't know.
I want to say The Martian.
Stillwater's pretty good.